Hey guys, these are three very different knives, I would say. Uh, this is an Enzo Lauri blade that I've changed the grind on. It came with a saber grind, and I took that shoulder off until I got a zero Scandi, so to say, till I got the two bevels to meet. It has a very high grind, as you can see, and I use this knife for carving. It does an excellent job. Very comfortable handle for that, round. The edge angle is small enough that it'll take exactly what I want to take off from the wood. This is an ESEE 4. Right now it has a 20-degree per side edge angle. I got a lot of questions about this. How much should I take off? Should I convex it? Should I put a 25-degree per side edge angle? I would say see what you need. Go with that. For me, 20-degree per side is perfect. For any knife. For my EDC blades, they do a great job. I don't need less than that. Of course, if you're going to be cutting hard cardboard, hard plastics, stuff like that all day long, you might want something with a more acute edge angle, so you don't have to put that much force into the cut. And this is a Benchmade mini bone collector. It has a 25-degree per side edge angle, which a lot of people will say that's too much for an EDC blade. You will have to put way too much force into cut. Depends on how you use your knife. I don't work in an environment where I have to use my knife all the time, and so it doesn't bother me. But I do look for a knife with a handle as comfortable as possible. And this one, even though it's relatively small, is very comfortable. More so than others. All right. Well, let's talk about woodworking. I did get into a conversation with somebody who said that for him, 15 degrees per side is just not acute enough. It's not good enough for what he needs. And he needs, I think it was 07 with an edge angle that's lower than 10 degrees per side, which is lower than your average Mora companion or 511. I don't think you need anything lower than that, but some people like them. However, the way some people phrase that is that no knife with an edge angle over 10 degrees is gonna do a decent job. And a lot of people believe them. And that's where I step in. For woodworking, I say any of these are good. If you want to make wood shavings, feather sticks, light them with your ferro rod. You know, some people do it for practice. Some people do it to see if they can, and then do it for practice. Some people just want to test knives. Either one is good. What I like to say is, don't believe anybody. Test for yourself. That is the most important thing. Always test for yourself. With an edge angle that's this acute, you won't have to put much force in the cut. However, you will have to control the blade because it wants to bite in. It really wants to bite in. As soon as you angle it a bit more, it'll go through the wood, and with very little force, it'll cut the sliver off to the end. It takes a lot of practice. This one is in between. The way it came, it was very easy to make wood shavings that you could light with a ferro rod. Very, very easy. Because it had a steeper edge angle. It didn't tend to bite in as much. And you could really not work as precise. You know, there was more room for error. Sort of like this one right now. Of course, to make fine wood shavings, all you need is a sharp blade. All you need is a sharp blade. You will get your fine wood shavings. But to bite into wood, that's when blade geometry comes in, and that's where a convex grind arguably is better than a full flat grind, or V-edge, or whatever. So, I'm going to try to demonstrate and talk at the same time, and let's see how good I am doing that. I have a piece of wood here. I'm just going to make a few shavings. And I'm going to start with the Lari because it has the most acute edge angle. Now, let's do it like this. If you want to get fine shavings, you will need a lot of control. Not a lot of force in the cut, but a lot of control. Because as soon as you twist the blade, with very little effort, you'll cut a sliver right off. And it takes little effort for this one. You see, an acute edge angle. That comes in handy when you want to make your kindling. You know, less force to get those bigger shavings. But if you want to get the really fine stuff, you do have to control the knife. However, this makes it possible with a little bit of practice and the right kind of wood to get those nice, long, thin curlies that'll help you when you want to make your fire. These can be lit with a ferro rod without a problem. Let's go to the ESEE4. The ESEE4 will need a bit more pressure, but you can get away with a little less control. I'm going to try not to scrape my hand again on the wood. Okay, so some of them are a bit wider, but they're all really thin and ready to take a spark. Now, if you want to take some bigger chunks, you'll see that the knife slipped. It's also because of the shape of the wood. And also I have to put, let me try on this side, I have to put a bit more pressure into the cut. Much more than I would have to put with the Lari. You see that? I don't know how well you can see how much pressure I have to put in it. It's more a thing you feel in the hand, but this one just goes through wood like butter. Okay? Like I said, there is very little room for error with such a fine edge and such an acute edge angle. This one is the steepest of the bunch. Now, with this, there is a lot of room for error. And if you're a beginner and want to get really fine wood shavings, maybe not as long and as nice, but really fine, I encourage you to try it with a blade that has a steeper edge angle. And, well, except for this one, you can see how fine those are, and you can see that I made them quite a bit faster. Because like I said, there is more room for error. You can light these without a problem. Of course, I'm not holding a wood shaving making tutorial, but you would want some nice edges. Let me If you want to bite in, this will take a bit more force. And you will feel the handle much more, but I'm not talking handle ergonomics. Okay, now I got a nice edge. Should be able to make a few fine curlies. And like I said, as soon as you want thicker sliver, it's gonna wanna jump out of the cut, and you will need more pressure. Okay? I hope I illustrated everything as well as possible, and I didn't manage to scrape my finger again. And then this is what I did earlier. But one thing I encourage you to do is not believe me and get a piece of wood, get a knife, and go see for yourself. I work very fast with this one because, like I said, there's more room for error. But you can get to working with such a knife as fast as I did with that one just by practicing. You can see this one just takes the slivers very neatly, but takes them too big, much bigger than I want to. I think a lot of people are complaining about having to put too much force in a cut, and that's where it all comes into play. But that doesn't necessarily have to be you. Maybe you need something else. I know how far I can take this edge. I know that if I get a piece of very hard wood or pine with knots and I bite in and I twist, I will probably damage the edge. Just straight cuts like this, no problem. But you see, it's harder to control. Going a bit slower, paying a bit more attention. And you can get those nice little wood shavings. Alright guys, this is what I wanted to say. Took a bit longer than I initially intended. However, I hope you liked the video, and I hope you, like I said, don't take people's word for it. Just the best way is to go out and try for yourself. I thank you for watching, and I wish you all a great day.